always, we will start in a few minutes. Just let the people log in. Thank you for your understanding, and actually it's very nice to see people who we just met at MGSA last week, so hi all. Let's wait 2 more minutes and then we will start the presentation. Thank you. Okay, let's start. Hi all, welcome to the 5th webinar about RhinoGold 5. This is Xavier Rofes, Sales and Marketing Manager. Today I'm kind of cold, so my voice can be a little different, but at least it's not robotic as the other webinars, which is a great improve. Before starting with the webinar itself, let me show you the next events where we are attending. First of all is Bazawool, we are flying over there tomorrow for the setup, and the show starting on Thursday actually. Tomorrow in Taipei, our partners W&W by Raymond Hu is offering a RhinoGold seminar. You can find all the information on our blog, www.tdmsolutions.com/blog. And on April 14th, we are flying to London with our reseller Simply Rhino with the event called the Digital Event, where we are going to show you RhinoGold 5 as well as 3D printing solutions. Of course, you are more than welcome to assist if you are in the area. Actually, it's not here because I just got the information a few minutes ago, but on April 8th, there will be a free training session in Toronto by Schindler Technologies, our partner in Canada. I will post this information on the blog after the webinar. And if you need more information, just type me here in the chat and I will help you. Also, in Barcelona, here at our office, we will be offering a RhinoGold advanced training from April 8th to 10th. So it's a great opportunity to become an expert of RhinoGold, and you will meet all the crew of TDM Solutions. So you are more than welcome to come. Pedro, are you here? How are you doing?
Yes, here I am once again. Thank you all the attendees for joining this webinar. As always, it's a pleasure to have the chance to show RhinoGold.
How was New York, Pedro? Was it good?
Very good, very good. Really good feedback from all the RhinoGold users, and it's really helpful for show the software and also to improve all the details inside RhinoGold.
Yeah, it was good. Freaking cold, but it was good.
That's true.
Enrique, third webinar in a row. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine, thank you.
Listen, Enrique, it's been already a week since we released the new RhinoGold 5 service,
Yes.
release 1. How is the feedback? Is it good?
Yeah, it's good so far, so good. Already working on more news and improve.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, then let's move forward. Let's start the webinar. Let me move just this presentation, this slide. Again, we are TDM Solutions, the company based in Barcelona, Spain. We are the developers of Rhino plugins, and RhinoGold is our main product. We are today everywhere in this world with more than 70 resellers and over 100 jewelry schools teaching RhinoGold every week. So it's easy for you to find an expert of RhinoGold in your area. Just visit our website and you will find the details of our other partners. For those who are new in this webinar, we are showing today RhinoGold. That's actually the most advanced 3D jewelry software today. And RhinoGold allows you creating your jewelry collection from scratch to manufacturing, but without missing the right marketing tools to show it to your customer, like rendering, animation, and so on. As we like to call it, it's the all-in-one solution. And this webinar will prove you that I'm actually right. Since last month, we are in RhinoGold 5. As Enrique said, we are receiving very good feedback, so it's just another income to keep improving it. So what we are going to see today is this ring. Let me move the slide. Another one. Okay. This is what we are going to see. It's what we call Cabochon is the new black. If you don't like the name, well, I'm sorry. I made it. The tools we are going to see in this webinar are the new tool in RhinoGold 5, the Advanced Ring Curve. I actually like it a lot. I hope you too. We're going to see as well Cabochon Studio and how to use the head in the Cabochon. We're going to see the gems by curve, dynamic profile, prongs in line, among others. And as always, if we have time, and I hope we do, we're going to create a nice render. remind you that Enrique and myself, we will be in the chat helping you with all your questions. So please do not hesitate asking anything. Pedro, it's your time. Are you ready to show RhinoGold?
Yes, thank you very much, Xavi. Thank you all the attendees once again. Let's start with RhinoGold. Let me open RhinoGold interface. So let's start making this cabochon ring. And as always, when we start creating a ring, and in this case with a central gem, the first steps I recommend it's always the gem, the first gem, and the ring size. So let's create first our cabochon using the Cabochon Studio tool. As you can see under the gems tab, we have all the parameters from the Cabochon Studio in this side panel. And now we just need to define the shape. In this case, I'm going to use oval shape, and of course the measures. So in this case, I'm going to use a cabochon with 6 millimeters and 4 millimeters, and then 8 with 2 millimeters. Finally, as you can see, we can, it's flat in the bottom. We have several types of cabochon cut. In this case, we are going to use this option, the side 8. So this is the idea. First, we create the cabochon, and here we go. So now the idea is to define the ring size. Before defining the ring size, I'm going just to move on with the head studio, just to apply a head studio in this cabochon. So I'm going to use under the jewelry tab, the head studio tool, as you can see. And now the first step is to choose the gem I'm going to use. So I select the gem where I want to apply this head studio, and now we have several parameters in order to define our head. So I'm going to start with the number of prongs. I'm going to use in this case 6 prongs. Then I'm going also to define the cap 8, in this case 0.25, 0.3, I believe it's more than enough. And of course the percentage from the gem inside. In this case, let's try 25%. Looks good. As you can see, it's a little bit inside the gem. And finally, I'm going to the rails tab, and in here I will define the number of rails. First, I want to use just a single rail, and then if I select the rail, you will see that I have more options. I can move down. I can also change my profile. So at this moment is a round profile. I can change to square, for instance this one. And now I just need to define all the parameters. So I'm going to adjust my profile, the 8 thickness. Remember, we can use the side panel parameters to adjust everything as we need. So a little bit more 8, and also with this point gumball I can rotate a little bit to adjust the shape exactly as I need, and also with this central point I can adjust the position. Finally, we have this arrow to adjust the size, and I believe everything is perfect as I want this head studio. And now I'm going back to the prongs tab, and I'm going to select the bottom profile from the prongs and press Shift key in order to select all the profiles. So after this I can adjust the position just a little bit, as you can see. and all the prongs selected will change as well. So the last step, I can adjust the diameter a little bit less, like this, and move up a little bit. So this is the kind of head I want to use. Looks good. Now I just need to check in here. So it's invalid geometry, it's trying to make the boolean. We just need to adjust a little bit the parameter in order to make the boolean to work. Something like this, I believe, should be enough. As you can see, this is the idea. So now I have my gem, my head studio, and I'm going to define now my ring size. So the idea to define the ring size, of course, we could use the gauge tool, or there are several options, but in this case I'm going to the drawing tab, and now I want to use the advanced ring curve tool. So as you can see under the drawing tab, when I select this tool, I also have the possibility to define the ring size. So we have all the ring size charts, and we can define, for instance, number 18 from the European measures. And now I'm going to move up my Cabochon and head studio in the front view to the top of the ring. So I'm going to adjust the positions like this. As you can see, I leave a little bit inside from the ring size curve in order to cut in the end. So this is the idea. And back to the perspective. Now, using the advanced ring curve tool, I'm going to define the curve that I'm going to use to create the shank of this ring. So as you can see now, I have this curve, and with these points I can define the curve from the ring. So the idea, I want to use the asymmetric curve. So as you can see, the symmetry is activated, and now I can move these points, and as you can see, easily I can define my ring, in this case my ring curve. So I'm going to use this curve to make the model. Probably in the top view will be easier to define what we need, and the idea is to define with these points, dragging the points to define the curve exactly as we need. Also remember, we can double click on the curve to add another point if needed. In this case, I believe it's easier with another point, so I just drag my points to define the curve exactly as I need. In this case, something like this, I believe it's enough, so just need to adjust the curve a little bit more. If needed, then we can edit this curve, so there is any problem if it's not exactly as we need. From the top view it seems good, but if needed I will edit. So for now I will keep it exactly like this. Okay, remember also you can activate the grid snap. I didn't use it in this example, but remember you can use it for other models. And now I just check in here to add the curve to the document. So now, as you can see, I have my ring curve, and I have my Cabochon and the head studio. I just want to make another thing. As you can see, I select the curve, and with middle mouse button I have the option to edit the curve. And what I want to do in this case is just to add this cylinder. As you can see, it's exactly the same diameter as the ring size I want to use, and the idea of this cylinder is to orient my surface, the surface I will create to define the ring shank. So now the next step will be to use the dynamic profile tool. Under the jewelry tab, we can find the dynamic profile icon. And when we use this tool, the first step, we need to select the curve where we want to apply the profile. So I will select this curve, press enter, and automatically, as you can see, I have my dynamic profile. One profile in the start of the curve and the other in the end. So the way I want to do this profile, I will need more than two profiles. So I could add one by one in here, or in this submenu I have the option to add directly the number of profiles I want to use. So I will use 5 profiles. So I just need to say OK, and as you can see, all the profiles were added to the curve, but as you can see, the orientation is not exactly as I want. So what I need to do is, with all these profiles selected, as you can see, I just need to define in this parameter the orientation by surface. So when I choose this option, I just need to define, as you can see in the command line, an object to use as reference. So the surface I want to use is the surface from the cylinder, and automatically, as you can see now, all the profiles are exactly oriented on the surface I define it. Okay, so as you can see, this is really easy. The next step, I just need to define the measures I want to use on this profile. So I'm going to define with 8. I'm going to use 1.5, and width I'm going to use in the bottom, I believe 2.5. It's enough, and then I will change in the others. So the idea is just to adjust in the bottom maybe 2.5 millimeters, as you can see. And now in the others, one final detail before I move on to the other profiles. This, I believe, it's important parameter. As you can see, the profiles are flat in the bottom. So as you can see, also we have a cylinder in here. So some case there will be some parts of the model that, for instance, in here we can see, even if it's oriented on the cylinder surface, a flat profile and a round surface, there are some points where we have the profile a little bit inside and a little bit outside. So a good way to avoid this is to define in here the position. We can define a little bit inside of the cylinder. As you can see, with all the profiles selected, I will define 0.2 millimeters inside the cylinder. Let's take a look in the front view. The profile is a little bit inside. So the idea is exactly like the head studio. I leave a little bit inside, and then I will cut to respect the ring size. So I will use 0.2 millimeters inside, and then I can adjust the overall, in this case, the 8 I want to use. I can define the 0.2, or I will keep 1.5, looks enough. And now I deselect this profile. So remember, to deselect, you just click on the profile and it's deselected. And now I will adjust the others. These ones I will keep exactly in this position, and then if needed I will adjust. So I deselect this one, and I deselect also this one. Okay, so now I just need to adjust these 2 profiles. Remember, it's important, I want the profile to touch in the head in order to make the Boolean operation. So I will define in here a little bit more. as you can see. So remember, it's important the profile touching in the head studio, so metal will be touching with the other metal part in order to be able to make the Boolean operation. So I believe exactly like this is good. Remember, at this point, if I needed to edit the curve, I could just check in here, edit the curve, and then the dynamic profile would also be updated. Of course, we can also edit the dynamic profile. One other thing in here, I will use a little bit more than 1.5. Let me adjust to 1.8, looks good. And finally, the caps, by default, it's none, so it's an open poly surface, but I can define a flat cap or rounded cap. In this case, I will define rounded cap in the start and in the end. And of course, I need to define the cap 8. So the idea is to define the 8 we want to use. As you can see, in this case, let me adjust a little bit more than 0.5. Let's try 1 millimeter. Looks good. And after this, the shank is what I'm looking for. I just need to check in here in order to add this dynamic profile to the document. So now we want to add a few gems in the shank, and to add the gems I will first create a recessed area to define the gems position. So to do it, I'm going to the modeling tab. I need first to create the curves where I want to create this recessed area. And a good way to define the curves, we have this tool, which is, in this case, I'm going to use under the offset submenu, we have the tool offset curve on surface. So I select this tool, and as you can see in the command line, I need to select a curve on surface. So in this case, I'm going to start with this one. So I select the curve, and as you can see, I have the selection menu because in here I have two edge curves from one surface, the side surface, and from the other surface, the top surface. I'm going to use, as you can see by the arrows, the surface, the top surface. So I select the edge curve, and in the command line, I just need to define the offset distance. So in this case, I'm going to use 0.6 millimeters and press enter. As you can see, automatically I have the curve on the surface. So with the distance with 0.6, I have the curve on the surface. This is the idea. And now let's move on to the next step, which will be exactly the same. Once again, offset curve on surface tool. I select the curve on surface, in this case this one, and then I just need to define once again the top surface edge. So this is the one, and you can see in the directions from the arrows. And once again, I will use 0.6 millimeters. So I just press enter, and once again I have my curve on the surface. So next step, I'm going to define the curves in the other direction. So the idea now, I believe it's easier to use the tool extract isocurves. So when I select this tool in the modeling tab, duplicate edge submenu, extract isocurves, I just need, as you can see in the command line, to select the surface I want to extract the isocurve. So I select this top surface, and as you can see, I have one curve, but this is not the direction I want. So in the command line, I just choose the option toggle, and as you can see now, I have the direction I want to use. So the idea in this case, I'm going to enable the endpoint, exactly the endpoint, and as you can see now, I can define. I just click in here, and I have one curve in here, And in the other side, I will do exactly the same with the endpoint. I create the other curve. Finally, then I need to define the end of this area. I will apply the resisted area for the gems in the middle of the shank. So the idea will be, we can use, of course, the right viewport. I will do it in the perspective like this. I believe it's more than enough. So I just click where I want to define from one side and exactly the same from the other. I just define in the middle of the shank and I click, in this case I remove the endpoint, and I click to add the curve. In the end, press enter, and as you can see, we have, let me select all the curves except this one. So as you can see, we have all the curves. We just need to trim these curves in order to get the closed curves we want to use to create the resisted area. So let's go to the drawing tab, and now I'm going to use the trim tool. As you can see, trim tool, and now I need to select the cutting object. So the cutting objects will be, in this case, I will choose all the curves. So I select this one, this one, this one, and also these two. Okay, as you can see, after select all the curves, you just need to follow the steps in the command line. I just need to press enter, and now I need to select the objects to trim. So now I just click on the part of the curve I don't want, like this, I define the curve, and also in here, this part of the curve, this part of the curve. The same in here, I define this curve, and in the other side exactly the same. This curve, and as you can see, I have one side ready and exactly the same to the other. This part of the curve I want to cut, also this part, and also this part, and finally the last one, this part. Okay, as you can see, now I have the curves ready. I just press enter, and now as you can see, we have one curve in here, other in here, other in here. We just need to close all this, to join all these curves in a single closed curve. To do it, I could use the join tool. I select all the curves and use the join tool, but to do it automatically, we have the auto connect tool. So when I click on auto connect, automatically it will connect all the curves, so I don't need to select them in a closed curve. As you can see now, I have this one, and in here for some reason it's not touching. So let's take a look to see what happened. If I select this one and if I select the other one, we will see, if we zoom in, that this is the problem. That's why it can't join. So we just need to trim again the other part. So it's very easy. Once again, with the trim tool, I just need to define, I want to cut this part of the curve, and the same to the other side, this part. Curve, enter, and now if I use the auto connect tool, let's see the results. As you can see, now I have the curve exactly as I want. As you can see also in the side panel, we have the properties panel, and when we select the curve, it will say the object type is a closed curve. The same to the other side. I can select the curve and we can check it's a closed curve. So this is the idea. Now I have the area I want to use to create the resisted area. Now I will just define the resisted area. So let's go to the modeling tab, and in here we have the pull push tool. So with the pull push tool, we need first to select the surface or the object we want to use, in this case this one, and the curve to cut, which first one, this part, and as you can see, automatically it will create the recessed area. Of course, I just need to define the distance I want to use. In this case, I believe 0.4 millimeters it's more than enough. As you can see, we can also check in the front view if everything is exactly as we want. And with 0.5 millimeters, I believe it's more than enough, so I just need to check in here to apply the changes. And also the same step, exactly the same parameters to the other side. So I just select the pull push tool, I select the surface, the object I want to use, and then the curve to create the recessed area. So once again, I define the curve, the distance, and 0.5 millimeters. Looks very good. And check in here to add the changes. So this is the idea. Now I can, for instance, select these curves. Remember, Shift for multiple selection, and I can go to the layers, create a new layer, and type curves. And in this new layer, I just need to change object layer, and from here I can hide this layer. So now I'm going to apply some gems on this shank. So the idea will be to apply the gems along this surface, and to do it easily, I'm going to extract this surface in order to orient the gem. So to do it, it's very easy. Under the Modeling tab in the Cap submenu, we have the Extract Surface tool. So the idea is to select the surfaces to extract. And one option we have in the command line is if we want to copy. So by default, it's no, but I will say copy yes, because I want to keep my closed solid, but I want to duplicate the surface. Now I just need to select the surface I want to extract, this one and also this one, press enter, and now we have the two surfaces we want to use to apply the gems. One other thing I'm going to do is to create a line in the middle of the surface to apply the gems along this curve. So let's go to the, once again, under the Duplicate Edge submenu, we have the Extract Isocurve tool. So I select this tool, and I need to select the surface for isocurve extraction. So I select the surface, and I need just to toggle the direction, and now I want the midpoint. So I just need to enable it in the OSNAP, the midpoint option, and as you can see in here, I will have exactly the midpoint from this surface. So I have the curve in the middle of the surface, press enter in the end, and exactly the same to the other side of the ring. So once again, Extract Isocurves tool, I select the surface, and then I just define the midpoint. In here, press enter in the end, and we have the two curves ready to apply the gems. So this is the idea. Remember, if you have any question, anything you need, please use the chat. We will answer all your questions. Also, we will publish this video if then you want to pay more attention to some details. So now the next step, I'm going to the Gems tab, and I'm going to use the Gems by Curve tool. So Gems by Curve tool, I just need to define the curve I want to apply the gems. So I will select this curve, and as you can see now I have the gem in here. Of course, I have several parameters to adjust, but now instead of using the gumball to orient to define the gems position, I will use the option to orient on object. So I select this option and I will use the surface we defined before. As you can see, automatically the gem will adjust to the surface. So I'm going to define the start point a little bit more inside in order to have some space to then apply the prongs in here. And now I just need to define the gem size. In this case, I'm going to start with gems with 1.1, and I'm going to add a few more, as you can see. And a little bit more, and from here I'm going to start adding different gem sizes. So now I'm going to the add option, and in here I can define another gem size. In this case I will use 1.3, and then once again I can add more gem sizes, 2, and once again the same workflow. I define one other gem size. In this case 1.5 looks good. The number of gems I will add just 1. So another gem size, in this case let's try 1.6, and the number of gems just 1. And let's move on exactly the same. Now 1.7 millimeter gem and 1 gem. So once again, now another gem size 1.8 millimeters and the number of gems, and finally let's use another 1.8. Remember to leave some space for the prongs. And also we have the possibility now to divide the number of gems along the curve. So I just need to define the justify, and in here I can adjust. So I will leave some space for the prongs in the corner, and all the rest looks good. So from one side I have the gems exactly as I want. So just checking here to add the gems to the document. And now I will repeat this step, so exactly the same workflow. Gems by curve tool. I select the curve I want to apply the gems, this one, and then we just define the surface to orient the gems, in this case this one. So easily I can define the first gem with 1.8 millimeters, and let me adjust something like this, looks good. And then now another gem size, let's define 1.7 and 1 gem. Maybe let me use 2 gems with 1.8 millimeters, and 1.7 will be the third. Then another gem size, and I will define 1.6 millimeters and 1 gem with 1.6 millimeters. Then another one, and in here with 1.5 millimeters. Okay, let's move on. Another gem size with 1.4 millimeters. Okay, and now repeat once again, 1.3 millimeter gem, number of gems 1, and another one with 1.2. Okay, and finally 1.1 millimeter gems, and the number of gems I'm going to add a few more. So let's add another one, and once again I'm going to justify to divide the number of gems along the curve. So now I can easily adjust the space I want to leave for the prong. So a little bit in here, I believe it's perfect. The space we will need for the prongs looks good, and in the other side I believe it's also exactly as we need. I just check in here to add the gems to the document. So as you can see, this is the idea. Easily I define the gems along this curve, so I can select this curve, change the layer, okay. And now I'm going to define the prongs. So I select the gems, in this case the gems, so it will be this group, and I will apply some prongs for this gem. So in this case I believe the best option would be the prongs inline tool. So under the jewelry tab we have the prongs inline tool. As you can see, automatically I have the prongs between gems. I just need to define the parameters. The diameter, the cap 8, in this case I'm going to use round cap, 0.10, 0.15, I believe it's more than enough. And now I just need to drag this to define the prong position. So as you can see, easily I drag the prong to one side, and then I have the symmetry. So remember, if I press shift, it will apply to all, and I only need to define the end prong. So I believe in here it's good. Of course, in here probably we need to adjust manually if we need more space. Remember, if you don't press shift, you can edit all exactly as needed. In this case we can add to adjust the space between prongs a little bit more. So easily I can adjust the prongs like this, the same in here. And remember, in the end it's also possible to edit the prongs. We will see probably we will need in this case. So it's easier in the end to edit the prongs. So in here I leave it exactly like this, the same in here, and then I can edit the prongs. So I apply the prongs, checking here to add the prongs to the document, and I will repeat this step to the other side. So I select the gems, and then once again with the prongs inline tool, I just define diameter, cap 8, and finally I can drag the prong. In this case I will press shift to apply the changes to all, and then I just need to adjust the end prongs, and of course the other gem sizes I will adjust as well. So in here looks good, and in here I will start adjusting a little bit more the distance between prongs, something like this. So easily I just need to drag this point gumball from one side, and the other will follow exactly the same orientation. So easily I can adjust the prongs position, and the same in here. So once again, in the end I will adjust something like this, and check in here to add the prongs to the document. So as you can see, easily we can apply the prongs for these gems. And now if I want to adjust, for instance, the prong from this side a little bit more outside, and I don't want to touch this one, the best option we have is to edit the prong. So easily I select the prongs, I press middle mouse button, and I choose edit. So now I can edit the prongs easily. We have all the parameters for the measures, and of course I can move the prongs position. As you can see, when they are blue they are selected, but if I want to drag it in order to change the position, I can do it. Why? Because I need to select object as reference. So in here I just need to click in here and define, okay, I will use this surface as reference to orient the prong. So easily then I can adjust the prong's position. As you can see, just drag the prong, define exactly the position to be used, and we can adjust the prong exactly as needed. So this is the idea. Really easy. In the end, checking here to add the changes to the document, and I will adjust as well the other side. So once again, select the prongs, edit, and with prong editor we just need to select the surface, and easily I can adjust the prongs position. Here, 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 and as you can see, easily we define the prongs exactly as we need. Once again, checking here to add the prongs to the document, and now we have the hard part of this model done. Of course, we need a few more details. So now we have the shank as one part, and we have the head as other part. So I will make all of them as a single object. So I need to make the Boolean union. First, I will just select the surfaces. I've used it to orient the gems and the prongs. I will select these surfaces, and once again I'm going to create a new layer, and I will call him surfaces, and I will right click, change object layer. So easily I can hide the surfaces in this layer. So the next step will be the Boolean operation. So modeling tab, Boolean tool, and now the first option is Boolean union. I just need to select the objects I want to make the Boolean operation. So the shank and the head. Press enter, and we need to click on preview to preview the changes. As you can see, easily we make the Boolean operation between the shank and the head. And now let me hide the circle. We leave a little bit inside. Now I can easily cut my shank in order to respect the ring size. So to do it, I just need to use this cylinder. This cylinder, I'm sure it's exactly the ring size I want to use. So now, once again, Boolean operation, but now I will use the option Boolean difference. So first, objects to keep, and then objects to remove. So I will select the cylinder, enter, and let's preview the result. So as you can see, now I just check in here, the Boolean operation was successful, created, and in the front view, as you can see, now I have the perfect circle, exactly the ring size I want to use. So this is the idea. Really easy to define the model exactly as we need. And the next step, I need to create the stone seat. So as you know, we have this solid shank. I just need to make the Boolean operation, first create the cutters, and then with the Boolean operation to remove the cutters from the shank. So middle mouse button, and I select all the gems in the document, and then with the cutters tool in the jewelry tab, automatically I will generate the cutters for all these gems. So I just will use the default parameters. I won't adjust anything. Checking here to add the cutters to the document, and finally under the modeling tab, dynamic Boolean tool, and once again let's choose the option Boolean difference. First the object to keep, the shank, and then the objects to remove, in this case the cutters. So let's click on preview to calculate the Boolean operation, and as you can see, easily we create the Boolean. So easily I remove the cutters, and let's hide the gems. So middle mouse button, and I select all the gems, and in here I can hide the gems to see the results. As you can see, easily we create all the stone seats, and this is the idea. So let's show again the gems. So the last step, I will apply a mill grain on this side. So I just need to define the curve I want to apply the mill grain. So let's go to the duplicate edge submenu, and now I'm going to use the parametrical isocurve tool. So in here, once again, I need to select the surface I want to extract the curve. Let me remove the midpoint option, and now I just define where I want to apply my curve. So I will select here, and one option we have with this parametrical isocurve, we can define with these point gumbals where we want to start and where we want to end the curve. So I want to start in there, but I want to end more or less where is the gem. So in here, and I press enter, and as you can see, I have the curve exactly where I want. So I will repeat this step to the other side. Once again, parametrical isocurve, I select the surface, and easily I will define the curve in here. So start point in here, and end point I will use here, where is the gem. So as you can see, very easy. Press enter in the end, and I have the curves ready to apply the mill grain. So let's go to the jewelry tab, mill grain tool. I just need to select the curve where I want to apply the mill grain. So I select the curve, press enter, and now I just need to define, in this case, the radius for the sphere. So I will use, let's try 0.4, and probably it's a little bit bigger. Let's try 0.3, and overlapping distance I will use 0.1. So this is the result I'm looking for, and exactly the same to the other side. I select the curve, mill grain tool, and in this case I will define radius 0.3 millimeters and overlapping distance with 0.1. So checking here to add the mill grain to the document. As you can see easily, we have defined our ring. Let me just hide these curves. So this is the idea with the Cabochon ring. This is a good model. We have a few new tools from RhinoGold 5 in this exercise. Also others we improve. So I believe it's a very good exercise to follow in the video. And to finish, I'm just going to create a render for this ring. So easily, let me adjust the render. I will first adjust the position. So let me go to the right view. I select the ring and I activate the gumball. I want the position like this. So just define the position as I want to be. A little bit less rotation angle. Okay, looks good. And now back to the perspective. Let me rotate. And now in here I will define my render. So in this case I just need to go to the render tab, Render Studio icon, and now I can define easily the render parameters. So first step, I will select all the gems, and I will apply, in this case, let's use diamond, and the cabochon, I'm going to use amethyst. Okay, then all the other parts I can select easily in the material selector for RhinoGold. So as you can see, I just double click in here and I select all the other parts. So I'm going back to Render Studio tab, And now I will use metal polish. Let me use this yellow gold. And now I can easily create the render. We have also the option to add ground, but there is one good point I would like to talk, is that if we don't add any ground in the render studio for Arion, if we don't add any ground and we render directly, it will create automatically a white ground. So if we want a real white ground, we can just define, we don't apply any ground, and actually it's very easy to define this white ground. So now let me define the position for the render. Can be something like this, and start render. I just click on render, and now Arion is calculating the render. Let's see how it looks like. Of course, we can rotate a little bit to adjust the position, but now it's calculating the render. Probably, I believe, let me stop this render and let me rotate to the other side. I believe probably we have a better perspective from here. Let's check what happens. Render again. But as I was saying before, I didn't apply any ground, and Arion automatically applied this white ground. As you can see, can be really good. Also, of course, we have the option, if we don't want the ground, we can just activate this option, transparent background, and it will define it will be transparent without any ground. So now Arion is calculating. I define high quality resolution. Now it's calculating and improving the render.
Very good, Pedro, very good.
Thank you, Xavi. Thank you, everybody.
And basically, I'm happy because you made it on time.
That's true. That's true. Not all the webinars I try to do it. Sometimes we need a little bit more time to explain all the details. In this case, I believe it was easy to finish on time. I'm happy.
Good. I think everybody is happy.
Great.
Anyway, let's see, 30 seconds, one more minute, how the render looks like.
Okay, of course we could adjust a few more parameters, just a quick render, just to show a little bit the workflow. But I believe it's a good sample what we can do using RhinoGold and Render Studio.
Excellent. Are you ready for Baselworld tomorrow?
Oh, of course I am. Let's go Baselworld. Let's go to show RhinoGold once again, and I invite everybody who is going to Baselworld to stop by our booth, and it will be a pleasure to show RhinoGold.
Very good. So, can you just go back to the PowerPoint?
Yes.
I guess.
Let me just stop the render to show the PowerPoint. Okay, I believe we can probably move on. Here you go.
Okay, I know most of you don't like this slide, but that's my obligation to talk about it. This is the RhinoGold prices. If you are a new user, you have RhinoGold and Rhino for $29.90. Today it's US and euros, it's kind of the same, so there will be no difference at all. If you already have Rhino 5 license, you can purchase just RhinoGold for only $19.95. And if you are an old user, an old folk, an old friend of us, you can easily update to RhinoGold 5 for only $8.95. Just one thing, if you are a user of RhinoGold 3 or older, you also have to update Rhino to its version 5, because RhinoGold 3 ran on Rhino 4 and RhinoGold 5 runs on the latest Rhino 5. I know it's confusing, but if you have RhinoGold 4 for $8.95, you can easily update. And if you have a previous version, the total price is $13.90 or US dollars. As always, you can find the dealer's details on rhinogold.com/dealers, or if there is none, which I believe everybody has one near you, you can go to rhinogold.com/buy and make the purchase online. So about next week, next week we are in Basel yet. It's this fantastic 8-day show. So the next webinar will be March 31st, and this is what we are going to model. This we call it the smell the flower, because it's trying to be a flower.
Good point. I believe it will be also a good webinar with different tools. So we are always excited to show RhinoGold.
Yes, absolutely. Please join the webinar if you're interested. As you all know, we are recording these webinars, and it will be published on our YouTube and Vimeo channel within the next minutes. Of course, we will leave the next 5-10 minutes to answer your questions. I see there are some, so we will dedicate the next 5-10 minutes to answer you. I hope you all like the webinar. I hope you all learned something today in this webinar. I hope you all use RhinoGold later on and start designing. And please, if you design anything, I would love to see it. So if you email it to me, I will be so happy. This is something I like a lot, to see what people do in RhinoGold. So please feel free to email me. My email is Xavier@tvmsolutions.com, and if you don't know how to write Xavier, I spell it. It's Xavier @tvmsolutions.com. Anyway, thank you very much, Pedro.
Thank you very much. No,
a great job.
Thank you, Xavi. Thank you, Enrique, and thank you to all the attendees. It's always my pleasure to have the opportunity to show RhinoGold in action. Thank you, everybody.
Enrique, thank you very much.
Thank you to you. Nice webinar, and I hope I can assist in the next webinar.
We will see. We will see. Okay, thank you all. Thanks again. Thanks for registering. Hope to see you next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.